So let's get started with the worksheet first. Some of your responses, I've seen it on your accounts. I've also given you comments. So I always encourage you to finish the worksheet first before you come for the lesson tutorial. Okay, so once you finish the worksheet, I will have a chance to take a look. I'll give you the comments as well as some good feedback so that you can know how to improve your writing. Okay. So what we are going to cover today is the learning objective is to define keywords in questions. Okay, so by defining keywords, basically we are trying to unpack the question. Right? I'm sure you have heard of this in school before, is to unpack the question, identifying keywords, and also defining the keywords. Okay, because you need to be very clear what the question is asking. Then you will give a suitable response, right? So that's for compo. And of course, based on these keywords, usually when it comes to writing, obviously at the age of you're only Sec 1, at the age of 13, you might not have a rich personal life, right? You might not have too much of and personal experiences before, okay? Because 13, I mean, there are things that you have experienced before, but there are things that you have not. So it will be to your advantage if, let's say, the topic that comes out for your composition is something that's relatable, okay? But not to worry, because eventually you'll be doing your O levels. There will be 4 topics to choose from. I'm sure there will be one at least that you can relate to. And also in 3 years' time, right? You're Sec 1 now, so 3 years later, you'll be Sec 4. Then you will eventually probably will gain more life experience, okay? So this one you will have to try to relate, okay? To relate the keywords to your personal experiences, okay? This is especially so if you're writing a personal recount at Sec 1 level. Most of the genre that they're going to cover is probably personal recount or descriptive essay, right? These are the 2 genres that I think they are going to focus a bit more on. When you're in upper sec, that's when they will focus more on argumentative and expository writing. But for now, it's mainly personal recount. That's why you should be able to relate to your personal experience and, of course, develop a relatable storyline. Okay, so nothing too out of the norm, because eventually the reader will want to relate to your story. And if it's like you're writing some science fiction things, then they might not be able to relate. Okay, so you have to be quite logical as well in this case. Okay, so some questions that we're going to cover, actually these questions came out in your homework assignment. I think none of you attempted the free writing. That's okay. I understand this week is your school holiday. Okay, but again, I highly encourage you to try and finish up your worksheet first before you come for tutorial. Yeah. So question 1, free writing. None of you have attempted, but it's okay. We'll go through it later. We'll unpack the questions together later. And then, but I do see some of you attempting the questions 2 and 5. I think 2 of you attempted. Okay, none of you attempted the first one. Okay. Part of 88 Tuition's SOW and also our lesson plan is that we want to cover current affairs. And the reason is very clear. Okay, at Sec 1, I think it will be useful to go through the English exam format with you. Okay, so we do know that we have a paper 1. Paper 1 comprises of your editing. Okay, and also your situational writing. And lastly, your continuous writing. And of course, continuous writing can come in many different genres. Yeah. Okay, then after that, paper 2 comprises of your visual text, right? There are 3 comprehension passages altogether. First one is a visual text. Second one is your narrative text. Okay, I know some schools have started Compre, some schools have started Compo. It's the end of term 1. okay, and you're only secondary 1, you would have noticed that the O-level English exam format is very different from PSLE. Yeah. Okay, so paper 2 is your visual text, your narrative text, and lastly, your non-narrative text. Okay, you have a paper 3, which is your oral. And by oral, it's split into 2 components. Your reading aloud, as well as your spoken interaction. Okay, and your paper 4, lastly, of course, is your listening. Okay, so you do realize that over here, we try to rotate, right? Amongst all these different components of the paper. We can't possibly go through all in one lesson. Yeah, so today we're focusing on writing. And also, if you notice, almost every lesson will cover current affairs. And current affairs because it will help you in many components of your O-level English paper. Definitely one of it is your continuous writing, because when you go to upper secondary school, you will probably, sorry, not upper secondary school, upper secondary, you will realize that continuous writing will comprise of expository as well as your argumentative. And these would require a lot of information. And also you will need to support your argument based on facts and figures, and also a lot of examples and research also. So it's good to build on your current affairs from now, okay? And then also another thing is non-narrative text. Non-narrative means it's not really like those kind of short stories or anything. It's mostly based on current affairs. The text that they choose, that they select for non-narrative text, is usually based on current affairs. Okay, so in this case, this will also help. And also lastly, one aspect that will help a lot if you were to be very if you are very adept with current affairs, would be the spoken interaction part, because you need to have the content to talk about certain matters or certain issues, right? So we are actually building on your content as well when we go through current affairs. Okay, so that's what we are actively doing here. So that is part of our curriculum. All right. Okay, so with that said, we are going to start with our first one. Okay, today we're going to learn about composition first, specifically personal reflection. Okay, it's like personal recount basically. Yeah. So, okay. Now, I wouldn't say this is a personal recount. Okay, the reason is because there is this part here in the question. So this is the topic given. Do you think this is true? Okay, so this one will require you to state your viewpoint. Okay, so which genre is this? This is not personal recount. This one should be considered expository writing. Okay, word count is important. Too little basically means you do not have enough information, right? Too many words can seem like you're not concise and precise as well. Yeah, so too little is not good. Too much is also not good. Sometimes too much means you are using a lot of redundant words as well. So it's not advisable. Okay, you are advised to spend about 55 minutes on this section. Makes sense because don't forget, you still have your situational writing as well as your editing portion to complete. Okay, and you're only given 1 hour 45 minutes. So it's safe to say that just spend about almost 1 hour on this section, because you would want to spend the remaining time on the other 2 sections as well. Yeah. Okay, so first thing first, let us define what are the keywords. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the question. The sentence says crisis in life are opportunities for personal growth. So what are some of the keywords here? Nobody, I'll call names already, yeah? Anyone? I'm only seeing Varun here. Everybody has turned off their video. Varun, do you want to identify the keyword? Oh, I see earn luck as well. Very good. I can't hear you, Varun, although you're speaking.
I was not trying to speak.
Oh, I thought you were speaking something because I
Oh,
see you mouthing something else.
I was trying to think of what to say.
Okay. Anything? It can be a word, it can be a phrase, huh? It might not be just a
Crisis, CRISES, opportunity, and
very good,
yeah.
right? Opportunities.
I can only identify those two.
Okay, very good already. Actually, it's good that you know, given your input. And I would say the last one would be personal growth. So of course, first thing first, when you're given a topic for composition, it's to identify what is your task. You're supposed to write, right? Stating your viewpoint. So you will also need to identify the genre. Oh, immediately you know, oh, this is expository. And expository writing has a certain format to it. It's like a backbone, right? You will have like, it's like a fishbone. So you have the fishbone looks a bit funny. Okay, never mind. This one. Okay, so you will have your introductory paragraph, your introduction. Then of course you have your conclusion. And of course, everything in between are basically your body paragraphs, right? Okay. So your crises in life. So what's the definition of a crisis? What does it mean by a crisis? What does it mean by a crisis to you? Singapore is facing a financial crisis. So what's that?
I think crisis is a big situation which usually is bad.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Usually.
A bad situation, is that what you're trying to say? Yeah.
Not exactly, but close.
Yeah. Okay, I would think it's a period of difficulty. Yes, a bad situation. Okay, but crisis usually is not just one situation, it's usually a period. Yeah, but good try and luck. And opportunities. When we say we are met with a crisis, they are actually opportunities. So what do we mean by opportunities? I see someone typing. Maybe it's Marcus because his speaker is not working. Oh, Sheena. Something urgent and bad and important in a bad way. Yeah, correct. Okay, you have identified personal growth as well. Very good, Sheena. Okay, great. So opportunities basically means a set of circumstances. Okay, good circumstances basically, right? That make it possible to do anything. Okay, it's a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do anything, right? So I was just I think watching the documentary of this lady who just won the Oscars. She's actually I think the first Asian lady in 45 years to win the Oscars for Best Actress. So what happens is that she said that you will always need to be at your best, because when an opportunity arises, you never know when an opportunity will arise, right? But when an opportunity arises, you know that you're at your best, and you will most likely be able to ace the opportunity, because not every time opportunities will come. Okay, so but you have to be prepared for the opportunity. That's what she said. Okay. So anyway, personal growth. From the word personal, of course, you can already imply it means oneself. So growing means what?